Hello, Vicky. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We talk about your writing, but before that, can you tell me a bit about yourself? Where you're from, what you do for hobbies outside of writing?
Okay, well, I'm from Ohio,
Yeah.
Northeast Ohio.
Hmm.
Um, I like to, well, obviously write.
Of course.
Um,
Mm.
I like to draw, um, read,
Mm.
um, bead jewelry. I like to bead.
You actually make them.
Um,
You make the bead jewelry.
hmm yeah.
Is that for yourself, or is that things you put up for sale? Is it?
Well, I've had a lot of friends ask me if I was gonna sell my stuff because whenever I make something, I put a photo of it on social media
Yeah.
so people can see, you know. And a lot of them have said you should, make your own Etsy shop and sell these things.
Yeah.
So I've been toying around with that idea because I got a lot to sell because I've made a lot of stuff. Even locked out and everything, I've been beating like crazy.
I've got to have like the small, intricate fingers to wind them into the cotton. Is it cotton that you put them on? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of the beads are like the real tiny seed beads,
Yeah.
and they're like, I really gotta look,
Ooh.
you know.
You need
It's a
tweezers
really
to pick them up.
yeah, sometimes you do have to use tweezers.
Yeah.
Um, of course, I like to hang out on social media.
Yep, that's how we chatted, isn't it, on Twitter?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Twitter, Instagram.
yeah,
Um, let's see what else. Well, I like to watch TV.
yeah.
Um, uh, I like to do crossword puzzles
Okay.
and playing with my cats. I have two.
Oh, yeah. I read. Do you know what? I've done a search for you online. I found a couple of bits, but I didn't know you had this website. You've showed me before. I just did a search
Yeah.
with your name, but actually, not cleverly. The what's it called? The Les Vampo Bois Wix site. I can't pronounce that.
Les Vamp, Butch Boy, and
That's
it's on wixsite.com. Yeah.
okay. That's easy for you to say. Let's talk about your book, The Vampire Society, Christopher and Gasper. Can I
Gaspar,
just
yeah.
ask, Gasper, is that, I immediately think of Casper the ghost. Is there a link there at all? Is that just the way I think?
Um, well, I was looking for a name, a French name,
Hmm.
because my vampires, the three main ones anyway, are French.
Okay.
And I knew, well, I like the movie Casper the Friendly Ghost,
Yeah.
with Christina Ricci in it. I like that one. And I looked up the name Gaspar for my
Hmm.
character,
Yeah.
and I looked up Casper, and both the definitions for that name was he who guards the treasure.
Okay.
And I figured, well, Gaspar would be like the French version of, I guess, Casper, I guess.
Yeah.
And plus, I like the definition. And since Christopher is Gaspar's treasure that he protects, I figured, well, that's the perfect name for him then.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Gaspar got his name.
Okay. So tell us about the story itself. Well, obviously no spoilers. You revamped. I had a look, and you had this published a couple of years ago, but you've done a revision. Is this like a new release of the book, or is this a
Yeah, it's a
second?
it's a revised edition.
Okay.
Um, I won't go into all the details of that, but it is a
Yeah.
revised edition.
Okay.
And yeah, the other one was with a tradition. Well, it was actually with a vanity publishing company.
Page
Um,
Publishing.
yeah, hmm
Hmm.
and so I had to wait till my contract was up with them before I
Okay.
could, publish my revised edition.
Right. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So as soon as that was over, I was like, okay, time to get to work. I had been working on it anyway,
Yeah.
editing and revising and, sending it to my beta back and forth to my beta readers,
Yeah.
and which they've been an immense help. Shout out to all of them.
Yeah.
You guys. Um, but
How does it work that the beta readers? You say beta, I say beta. How does it work? Do you pay them, or just sort of quid pro quo? Did you do revisions for them and edit for them? I've never been in contact with any.
oh, um, well, I, I've and everybody has said this, you never pay for beta readers, which
Okay.
is a good thing. Right now, I can't pay anybody for nothing.
Sell the beads, Vicky.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I would send them a copy,
Yep.
and they go through it. And then I had like maybe 10 to 15 questions specifically that I want to know about the book, of what they liked.
Yep.
Were there any plot holes, important stuff like that?
Yep.
Which characters did they like and why, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I could feel out my book a little bit better.
Okay.
And then they would answer those questions and also give me their comments and thoughts as well, because I encourage that too.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts, give me your comments, any suggestions to make it, to maybe enhance a scene or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were great. They did all that, and they would send their emails back to me.
Yeah.
And I would go through their comments and stuff, and see which ones I wanted to keep and which ones didn't quite fit with the story, kind of weed through it. And we kept going back and forth for, I don't know how I got up to like revision 7. So finally revision 7 was the last revision. I was like, okay, I'm good. I ain't touching it anymore. It's perfect. And but yeah, there was a lot of back and forth. But eventually I got it to where I needed it to be, and it sounds great, and I can't wait for everybody to read it. You guys are going to be blown away. I'm blown away. I got the shivers talking about it. I mean,
when's it actually got to be released? I mean, you sent me the cover reveal last week. What's publication date? When's it actually out and available?
On Halloween, October 31st.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I figured that would be a good date since it's a vampire book. I figured, yeah, Halloween.
Yeah,
that'll work. Even though the book takes place in summer, still it's a vampire story. So I figured, and I'm antsy. I want to get it into people's hands as soon as possible. I'm like, I'm not waiting anymore. It's going out on Halloween. It's ready. It's going to be born. Let's have this thing.
Yeah. Have you gone down the indie route this time? Is it self? Are you going through Amazon through their services? Is that how you're getting this one published, or have you gone to another publisher?
I'm self-publishing. Yeah.
Okay. You get to keep more royalties that way anyway, don't you? You've got more control.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, when the writing community on Twitter told me about self-publishing, I had never heard of that before.
Yeah.
I thought it was just, you send your book to a publishing company and they take care of it. I didn't know you could do it yourself. So I looked into it on KDP on Amazon. They have the self-published thing. So I looked into that and I was like, boom. I weighed all the pros and cons, which everything has a pro and a con.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of the pros for self-publishing outweighed the cons for me. I don't know if that, everybody has a personal preference, but for me, the pros outweighed the cons. So I was like, I'm going the self-publishing route. That way I'm in control of everything.
Yeah.
I get my royalties right away, and, I don't have to wait, so that's why it works good for me, and it's fun.
Yeah, it comes through every 2 months, I think. Yeah, but 70% royalty for the Kindle version. You can't. I don't think there's any publisher around that can match that. But Amazon actually pay you for the royalty.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like, I've been the traditional route with the vanity press, and you gotta kind of wait because they for page publishing they do like you have to make at least $100 before they'll cut you a check.
Okay.
So, and sometimes that's a long wait. For me, it was because I'm a new author, and I'm not like Stephen King or Dean Koontz where everybody's just waiting for the next book to come out. I'm trying to work my way up slowly, But so it's kind of slow going. But yeah, you kind of have to wait. And at least with self-publishing, as soon as you sell one, Amazon pays you right away. And you don't really have to wait long. So that's pretty good because that's kind of what I need right now. I'm like my own charity right now.
Oh dear. One of the best things I think about Amazon, you've got like your report section that you look in to see the sales, and it shows you where the book's selling around the world, and whether people in America, so you get some dollar incomes coming in, or whether it's in Europe, you get some euros money coming in. But you can go back to the whole history of the book sales and things. It's really good, really simple. What is it? Just the Kindle version you're bringing out, or are you going for the paperback as well?
Oh yeah, there's
Both.
going to be an ebook version, the
Okay.
Kindle,
Yep.
and also a paperback. Yeah,
Okay.
and actually, I saw on KDP where they're actually in the beta stage of doing hardback.
So that, yeah.
That must be coming soon. So I'm
It's
like,
there
ooh,
now. It's there. I know a couple of friends of mine, they've actually published theirs in hardback. And what they told me
yeah.
as well, that there's more likely like that libraries are going to buy a copy of the book. I think they don't automatically buy self-published books, but I think if it's hardback, there's more chances that your local library will pick it up. And obviously an increase in royalty for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It does cost more,
Yeah.
for a self-publisher like me to
Yeah. Well,
do the hardback, but at the
yeah.
same token, if you set the price right, you will get some profit off of that.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking too was, a lot of people will buy hardback because they want to keep that pristine, and
Yeah.
that's why they buy the hardback,
Yeah.
especially if it's in a series like mine is.
Yeah.
That way they have their collection on their bookshelf.
Mm.
And then they'll buy the paperback to where they can, ravage that one and
Mm.
write in it and highlight their favorite parts and
Yeah.
stuff. And then the ebook is for people who maybe don't really prefer handheld books. I know I do. I prefer handheld, but
I do. Yeah.
they'd rather sweep through, and which is
Mm.
fine.
Mm.
Everybody has a preference.
Mm.
But that's what I think the hardbacks are usually what people use for. And sometimes they'll use the hardback as the one where they have the author sign.
Sign.
That
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
that way they don't touch it. It's pristine. And,
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people do. I know that's what I would do,
Mm. Yeah. I read somewhere that J.K. Rowling, her original books, the Harry Potter series, when they were first published, a lot of schools bought them for the kids section, and now they're worth a fortune. If they're signed, I think there was a hunt in local schools. They're worth, I don't know, 10,000 quid or something, for each book. The original first edition. Have you looked at audio version through Audible?
Funny you mentioned that because I actually, with my beta readers,
Yep.
I made a little, like a club chat for us. And so we're in there, and I went ahead and I read like the first 5 chapters to them out
Yeah.
loud. I used the accents and the character voices and everything,
Yeah.
and they loved it. And they were like, "You should make an audiobook of your story.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
You do it." Because
Yeah.
and then the one beta reader, she said as she was reading the book, she could hear my voice as she was reading.
Oh.
She even emailed me that. She said,
Yeah.
"I could hear the accents. I heard your voice. I heard the character voices." She said it just brought the book alive to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Have
oh,
you done any acting work, any voice work?
oh, I tell you what, when I was a kid, I was always in the school plays. I didn't miss one. I've wanted so much to be like in like theater plays, like at the Playhouse or whatever.
Yeah.
Never got into that, but it's still in the back of my mind. I still would love to do that because I love being on stage. I love performing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like to tell stories, is because I like to delve into characters. And as a matter of fact, when I started this story
Yeah.
way back in actually 1997 is when I started it.
That's a while ago.
That's when I created, yeah, that's when I created the characters.
Yeah.
And their backstories and their bios and things like that. And I jotted down some scenes, because I was filling them out and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I have like this notebook full of notes and stuff, and also drew pictures of my characters and
Yeah.
stuff like that, see what they would look like. I had it visualized in my mind how I wanted them to look.
Yeah.
So I felt them out. Yeah, it was way back then. So I've been working on this ever since then.
Yeah.
and then it was like I guess in between the period of 2011 and 2013 was when I actually started reading it to some of my family members, my mom and a couple of my sisters, and they loved it. Now, keep in mind, back then the book was
Yeah.
in the raw stage, but
Yeah.
they loved it. They were just blown away, and I figure, well, if they love it,
Yeah.
other people love it too,
Mm.
And I think it was one of my beta readers that said, I definitely feel your love for your characters. Christopher and Gaspar are the main characters. I definitely
Yeah.
feel your love dripping for them characters on all the pages. You love your 2 boys. And I was like, yep, they're my sons.
Yeah.
Christopher and Gaspar, those are my babies.
What the story's about then? The Society of Vampires. I think I interrupted you. I think I asked you earlier, and I think you went to answer. And I may have butt in with a different question, but can you give us an outline of it? Just Kelly, what's the gist of the story?
Sure. Well, Christopher is 18 years old. He's a human.
Yeah.
He lives in Michigan, and he one night, interesting neighbors move
Yeah.
into the abandoned brick house next door to him.
Yeah.
Come to find out, they're vampires.
Lovely.
And it's Gaspar and his vampire stepfathers, Francois and Jacques. So see, French.
Mhm.
And I also have a whole thing where, the vampires have their own god and their own devil, so it's kind of separate.
Yeah.
And so their vampire god is called Zenith.
Hmm.
And he helps to choose mates for his vampires.
Yeah.
Well, Christopher and Gaspar
Mhm.
have been chosen for each other.
Okay.
So eventually they come together and Zenith melds their souls together so that they can hear each other's thoughts, feel each other's feelings. They have this connection. But there's also evil vampires who do not follow Zenith. They follow the vampire devil, whose name is Nader.
Okay.
And so they're evil. And the main evil one, his name is Radu. And he does not look much like the other vampires. He looks different. He's pretty doggone sinister. I drew a picture of him. He actually has pointed ears.
Yeah.
He's got a very heavy brow ridge, and his eyes are very demonic. They're like, his irises are like, the outside of it is red, the inside is yellow, and his pupils are slits. So they're kind of like snake eyes almost.
Yeah.
He's got this mouth full of fangs instead of just the single fangs that vampires have.
Yeah.
All his teeth are sharp. They're all fangs.
Yeah.
And BNC has the snake eyes and everything, and I wanted him to be really sinister. He trails his S's. So he's got long, sharp claws, and he's pretty bony. He's muscular, but not to where, bodybuilder type or anything, but you can see that he's chiseled. But he's very skeletal, and his white skin is very taut over his bones, so you can actually see how skeletal he is, but you can also see the cords of his muscles too. So he's the main antagonist for our poor Christopher and Gaspar. And of course, and then there's Christopher's family. His mom, Christy, who is a gem to him. She's on his side and she likes the vampires. But then there's his dad, Tom, who hates vampires. He doesn't trust them. They're evil. They want to wipe out the human race. They just want to eat us and take our blood and kill us all. So Christopher has to deal with that too. And when Tom finds out about the vampires next door, well, I won't go into it, but there's trouble brewing there. He also has a brother and sister. He has an 11-year-old sister named Tina, and she loves the vampires, and a 7-year-old little brother named Billy. And he sees the vampires as superheroes because that's what his little world consists of. It's all kinds of superheroes. So the vampires are included in that too.
Sounds brilliant.
And so begins the story. And of course, he has an Aunt Rita and an Uncle Jack who help him too, and a cousin Justin who he loves very much. And he's got a best friend named Adam. So he has a lot of support for himself. But yeah, a lot of wicked fun comes into play there. And there are some and this is why the book is for 18 and over, because there are
adult themes.
There's adult themes in there. I do have a sex scene in there between Gaspar's stepfathers because I wanted to express the fangs. I make their fangs a little different. I'm not going to give any spoilers. You'll have to read the book.
Okay.
But I wanted to express the fangs a little bit. And then later on, I think in book 2, Gaspar explains the fangs to Christopher. So I kind of wanted that in there between them. There are some heavy petting scenes between Christopher and Gaspar because they are in love and they are connected and they are mates. But there's no sex scenes with them yet. Zenith has like phases for them to go through. And the first phase where they will have sex and bond will be like in November. That might be a little bit of a spoiler, but
but then it's book 1 that's coming out on Halloween. And then book 2, have you got that ready, book 2, or is that something that you're working on now?
2 is written. It's ready.
Yeah.
I'm just doing some fine editing. I actually organized my notes from my beta readers from book 2 because yeah, they've read book 2 and book 3,
Yeah.
so they're ahead of the game a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm doing the finishing touches on that. I actually have one of my beta readers who she's been awesome too. She's been not only my beta reader, but also my copy editor, my line editor, you name it, she's done it.
Yeah.
She also did my book cover for book 1.
Okay. I was going to ask you
And
about that. Yeah.
yeah, so she's been really, really giving me some great pointers and tips and to help improve my story. So she'll be like my final one to send this to make sure it's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And then I plan to release that like, I don't know, well, whenever it's ready. But I want book 1 to have its moment in the spotlight first.
Okay.
Get everybody
Yeah.
excited, get everybody reading the story and be
Yeah.
like, okay, I finished book 1, where's book 2 now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, this whole thing's going to be a series.
Yeah.
And I figured to start out with Christopher and Gaspar because I want my readers to learn along with Chris how the Vampire Society works.
Okay.
That way, when their story is over, I can continue the Vampire Society with, you know, now this is another new couple, but they'll each have their own separate books, whereas Christopher and Gaspar will have several books
Okay.
because I'm introducing the readers to my vampire world.
Yeah.
I also have other books in the works too. I'm working on a memoir or an autobiography. And actually a book that's not related to vampires at all. It's a lesbian story. That was actually based on a dream, actually. So yeah. I'm working on that. So okay. I got several projects in the works, and but this series is the main one right now because I want to get this out.
Yeah. You're writing full time? Sound like you're busy there. Is that a full-time occupation now then, writing? Have you got like a set routine? Is it, certain time of the day that you start, or just whenever you feel like?
Yeah. This is my job. I'm an author.
Okay.
Because, I can't work anymore, physically go out and work anymore. So this is my job. So I'm able to do this full time and really, concentrate on it.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Just to go back to the Society of Vampires, are they traditional vampires? Do they burn in sunlight? There's garlic, injure them.
Yeah, actually, and I my vampires don't sparkle.
Okay.
They actually have fangs.
Yeah.
They can fly, and they sleep in coffins during the day.
Yeah.
I actually do have a part in book 1 where Chris is asking Gaspar a lot of questions about vampires because he's learning. And Gaspar actually mentions about the garlic and the crucifixes and the holy water and all that.
Yeah.
I won't go into any details. Gotta read the book.
Okay.
But but yeah, Gaspar answers all those questions about the vampires and stuff. So, but yeah, they're traditional vampires. I like the traditional vampire thing with like Interview with the Vampire and Lost Boys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are my vampires. Not well. I won't go there. But
okay.
I think you got the hook.
Have you read the? Do you like the Stephen King, The Silent Lot? Remember the television series?
Oh yeah.
How spooky was that?
And I've read the book.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. I like his vampires too.
So that same where the kid, the teenager, is in bed and he's got this vampire floating and tapping on his window, his upstairs window.
Yeah, I love that.
Whoa, no way.
I know, I love that. I was like, yeah, and that was another thing I put in with my vampires too, that they are able, being they can read minds and stuff.
Yeah.
They're able to hypnotize you. But my good vampires don't use that for bad. Of course, the evil ones do. Yeah. They use it to their, advantage to get you. But the good vampires, they use it for good. All their powers they use for good, whereas the evil vampires use all their powers for bad.
Okay.
So you have that. But the good vampires also, because all the vampires are made the same, but the good ones, they fight their feral side. Yeah. Whereas the evil ones, they live feral,
Okay.
That's what they are. That's who they
Yeah.
are. But the good
Yeah.
ones, they're always restraining themselves and keeping themselves under control as best that they can because
Yeah.
they don't want to be like them.
Yeah.
They want to follow Zenith, not Nadir.
Okay.
Nadir.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, they have, and that's the thing for Gaspar and Chris too. Sometimes the heavy petting is a little too heavy,
Mm.
and Gaspar has to pull away because
Mm.
he really wants to go at Christopher, not in a bad way,
Yeah.
but to do things that they're not ready to do yet,
Yeah.
and he's not allowed to feed off of him yet either.
Yeah.
So it's like he's got to wait. So I'm trying to show that restraint, that Chris, there is a danger in dating the feral side.
Yeah.
But I mean, he doesn't have to worry about Gaspar. Gaspar always restrains himself, but
Okay.
and Chris always plays with that. He kind of likes to bring Gaspar to the brink,
Yeah.
to where he's about to,
Yeah.
and Chris is like, sorry,
Mm. Yeah.
and Gaspar's like,
Yeah.
thanks for a lot of cute scenes with them.
Yeah.
And I know my beta readers, they are in love with Christopher and Gaspar. They think they are just the cutest couple.
Yeah.
And one beta reader, she's like, Christopher is so innocent. I just want to protect him. It's like when you see on a movie the shy, gentle, meek character, and you're like, protect. She says, that's how I feel about Christopher. I want to protect him.
Maternal instincts coming out.
Yeah. And they also said, you do good in drawing emotions out of your readers. Like, so I'm glad they're enjoying the books. That's why I can't wait for everybody else to read it, because seriously, you guys are just gonna love it.
Okay.
You're gonna love it.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to the read.
Also, as far as with my vampires, I tried to make them add some things that are a little different, because everybody has written so many things about vampires, and some have this going on, and some have that going on, and everything. So I wanted mine to be a little different,
unique,
and that's why I created the vampire god and vampire devil, and the thing about their fangs, and different other little things that I have in there that are hopefully a little different than anybody else has written. But it's from my own imagination, so But yeah, I try to tag everybody that's interested so that they know what's going on and they're up to date. And just today, as you saw, I launched my website.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, and one of my followers, friend of mine, he was all excited. He was like, "Oh, yay!" And I also have like the soundtrack on there. He was like, "I can't wait to listen to your soundtrack." He was all excited.
That's what you sent me before, isn't it, on Twitter? On thing on Spotify. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a look at that. Okay, Vicky, you're writing about horror story. What actually scares you? What are you afraid of? The big bad wolf?
No, because I write about werewolves too. But I actually mentioned about werewolves in book 1. But let's see, what does scare me?
Snakes, wasps, spiders.
No, I kind of like snakes and spiders. I don't like wasps.
Nobody does. I don't know what they're for.
Yeah, I was stung by one, and man, they pack a wallop.
Yeah.
Ouch! That hurts.
Such would have never happened to me.
Oh yeah, I remember one time, my dad, God rest his soul, he was underneath a car working on a car. Yeah. And a wasp actually stung his armpit. Ooh. And he was under the car, so he went up. He was like, "Ow!" And he went up and hit his head on the bottom of the car.
Dear. Yeah. Oh dear.
But yeah, so yeah, they pack a wallop. I don't like wasps. They're just mean. They're just mean looking, and they're just like, "Don't mess with me because I don't care. I will sting you and you won't like it." So I don't like wasps. Let's see, what else scares me? Bees are okay. I actually feel bad for our bees that they're
dying out, aren't they?
Yeah. But wasps I don't like. Yeah.
Oh, Vicky, at that time, it's flown by. It feels like a couple of minutes. It's a good chat when it goes so quickly at the time. So just give me a reminder again, the publication day again, October the
Halloween, October 31st.
Yep.
Will be released. The ebook and the paperback will be released, and I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm excited for you. I can't wait for the read. I really can't.
Oh, yay!